What's up guys, John from Old Reading Farm here. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to take you on another quick garden tour. It's a really nice day today, it's Saturday. So we'll start where we always do, back in our bee yard / raspberry patch. As you can see, we put second boxes on our beehives. If you watched our last bee video, we found some queen cells on one frame. Since then we put the second box on, queen is in the second box, everything looks good up there. So our berry patch is looking good, especially this last row right here. And we put some extra mulch down on our blackberries because they were getting a little overtaken by weeds, and eventually we'll do the same thing for these rows. We put down mulch originally, but then we put down an extra couple inches and widened it a little bit to make it easier to cut the grass in between. So now we're here in our farm market garden. We have some lettuce that's doing really well, some of it not so much. We planted some tomatoes up here. The beans that we had didn't really materialize into anything. We also planted some more tomatoes over here. We had something here that wasn't doing so well, either collards or something like that. Our radishes are doing a little bit of radishing, but starting to bolt. Some of the zucchini that you saw we planted last time, it's coming up.
You want to know which one's really coming up?
So our walking stick kale down here is doing much better. The ones that we have in the pots on our patio are like killing it right now. So not sure whether it's the soil that these are in or maybe it's lack of sunlight. You know, we learned a lot about this space after we planted it. You know, we learned that we probably didn't put down enough compost on here. But you know, it was our first time doing the lasagna beds with cardboard, and we really just learned a lot. And we also, so that top section gets a lot more sunlight, and it also has a grade down this way. So we found that that section dries out a lot faster than down here. So you know, it just we just learned a lot about our property right here. So we're now in our orchard, and we just noticed that one of our, I think this is a prune tree, had some sort of crazy leaves going on. And we just watched a garden answer video about peach leaf curl, which she said can happen to any kind of stone fruit. So I'm wondering if that's what that is. So maybe we'll go to the store and get some, I think it was copper oil or something like that today. But things are looking pretty good. I'm a little surprised because we had so many flowers so early on these trees. And now it's just a whole bunch of leaves, and I don't really remember last year where our fruits came from, but I would have thought we'd have more flowering at this point. But you know, we'll see. Any experts out there, take a look at our trees, let me know what you think. But this is one of our most mature apple trees, and it looks like we are getting some little baby apples in there, so that's exciting. Hopefully they grow. And so we're here now in our orchard garden rows, and things seem to be doing pretty well. You know, so in this row and that row, we have tomatoes planted on the outsides, and then we have, hold on.
Here, do you guys want to try to guess while John tries to guess?
So this is a,
Is it?
not dragon fruit.
No.
Not Dionysus. Snapdragon.
Yay!
I knew there was a D in there. So on the outsides we have tomatoes, and then on the inside we have some snapdragons, and everything's looking pretty good. So I'm hopeful, because we were a little worried that these wouldn't get as much sun being in the orchard, but they seem to be doing pretty well. So now we're here in our blueberry patch. As you can see, we're getting some flowers, which is really nice. We're pretty excited about that. Wasn't sure how this first year would do, whether we would actually get a harvest or not. Hopefully we do. And it's cool because now that the leaves are all out and the flowers are starting to form, you can really tell the difference between the plants. So this one is, what is this, bonus? And then this other row is blue crop. Oh no, this is sweetheart. So our sweethearts aren't really flowering yet, but you can tell the difference in the leaves. They're a little more pale than the bonus.
When I think of a blueberry in my head, this is more like what I think of, this type of leaf.
Yeah, and I think the blue crop was more the standard And we're going to put some mulch down in here and take care of some of these weeds, because this is, again, a little bit difficult to take care of the grass and the weeds around the plants. So now we're here outside of our blueberry patch where we have our raised bed with tomatoes, feverfew, and where's that feverfew?
It's candy tuft.
Candy tuft. And what do we have here?
Mystery peppers.
Mystery peppers.
And then Chinese long beans that haven't done.
No, they're right there.
Oh, this is my first time seeing them.
Yeah. Those are our Chinese long beans. So they must have just sprouted a couple days ago.
Yeah, there's another one. Cute. Brand new bed.
A new bed that we set up. We're cleaning out our garage, and these were all just shelves that we had in there. So it's basically just 1/2-inch plywood that we used pocket holes to screw together. Stuck it there. And one of the dog's favorite things is to jump in there and ruin everything.
Let's see our really professional labeling system: Black Beauty, Copia, Orange Oxheart, High Peanut, Costello Genovese, Mushroom Basket. Oh, and they're off. Solar Flare.
So this is another brand new bed. We had all these dahlias that we got from Swan Lake Dahlias, and we ran out of space. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So we pretty much just removed all the grass from this one section, put down some landscape fabric, burned some holes. New home for some dahlias, as well as some other stuff that we have in our greenhouse.
I think I'm going to do mostly cut flowers in here, because we have all the cosmos that we need to direct seed, and we have sunflowers to direct seed, bachelor buttons.
And there's still some more amaranth, right?
Oh yeah, we don't have like any amaranth anywhere. Just even the Sparrow Homestead. How do you get your landscape fabric to be so flat and smooth? How do you do that?
How do you do that? So I think the last time we filmed a video, they had all their fiber. They have since been shorn and got nifty new haircuts.
Looking a little crazy. Zoom you in.
So now we're here in our kale market garden. Once again, our walking stick kale in the beds is starting to actually take off, which is really nice. The feathered frills kale is looking really cool. And we just planted some lettuce in one of the other beds. Tomatoes are looking good. I think we were pleasantly surprised with how well this setup has done, just because, you know, it was one of the spots where early on we were like, where are we going to put all this stuff? Let's go right here. So, you know, we just put cardboard and layers of paper right on top of the grass, and that did kill everything. We did put some seed down, so it does look like some of the seeds actually blew in here and are growing up, but they're super easy to pull out. So everything's looking really good. So, so this is a bed that we made out of fence panels. I can't remember if this was in the last garden tour or not, but it is filled with mystery peppers. And the reason why it's filled with mystery peppers is we played the worst game in homesteading history called What the Hell Did I Plant? So we had 72 cell seed starting trays that we did like one row of this variety, one row of another, so on and so on. So we had like 12 different varieties in one tray. And then we had it written down, but somewhere along the line, you know, months of starting these seeds, we would lose the paper, or it just, you know, if it falls off and then you have two pieces of paper, which one goes with which? So next year, when we start our seeds, we're going to just do one variety, and we'll start, you know, 72 inserts per tray, one variety, much easier. So now we just have a bunch of mystery peppers that we have planted all over the place, and we'll see what comes up. So right behind us, we have our 4 trellis beds, railroad ties here, and oh wow,
Oak tree.
So this was a tree that our dogs decided to prune very early in its life, but it's actually doing oaky things, which is nice. Good to see that it survived. But so here we have zinnias down the middle, and then squash and cucumber on either end.
White bush scallop squash.
And then in this one, it's all flowers. So we have coral fountain amaranth, kiwi blues, scabiosa, and feverfew. Is that really a feverfew? Wow.
I don't, those are the seed swap feverfews.
And then over here, calendula, safflower, hyssop, and
Casparita, those are pumpkins.
Casparita. We had daffodils and tulips and alliums in here, so the daffodils and tulips are all done. Alliums are the only things left, and they're probably coming to their end quite soon. We'll make flower bouquets out of them, and then this bed will be pretty much done. Did we plant dahlias in here?
I stuck a couple, but not very many.
Okay. Once the alliums are all done, the dahlias will hopefully come up.
Yeah, and I should put some seeds in.
So this is the bed that our dogs planted. If you didn't watch that video, put a link up here. And it's actually doing really well. Squash is coming up real good. And then we got a few peppers, and then I think a couple flowers and tomatoes. But everything's looking really good. My name's John, and I'm a raspberry. So we are here in our raspberry patch. Are these going to be flowers?
Either they are going to be flowers or they were already flowers.
There's a flower right there. Yeah, so these are looking pretty good. And they're doing a good job of choking the weeds out. They're real nice and thick, which is nice. And then right here we have our zinnias, which actually look like they are getting
chewed up,
eaten by something. So that's not good.
No.
Our kale, you know, we had a kale ocean here last year. And it's looking pretty kale oceany again this year, which is nice. And it was funny, last year we had some weeds growing up in one of these rows, and we had all this kale, and all the bugs would eat the weeds and leave the kale alone. It was like the funniest thing, like even the bugs.
Relate.
Yeah, even the bugs don't want kale. We also have grapes here. We thought that would be fun 2 years ago, I think.
Yep.
And so they're actually still alive, which is nice. And then we're now here with our beans. Anybody know what that is that's eating our beans? These are our tongues of fire bush beans. That I actually rogue purchased on my own, which I never do. So we have the tongues of fire, and we have some edamame that I think didn't come up. It must have just been old or something. And then we have two other beans here. And interestingly enough, last year we had a sea of amaranth, like just giant red amaranth and gold amaranth here. And if you've ever had amaranth, you know their seeds prolific. So we actually have little amaranth growing up from seeds that must have been dropped by the plants last year. So where the edamame is not coming up at all, we have little amaranth babies coming up. So that's kind of cool. So we're now in our perennial garden, and you can see our peonies, which were starting to bud last time, are now starting to get some color and petals. And Catherine told me, interestingly, that ants are the ones that pollinate peonies, which is bonkers. But you can see there's a million ants all over these things. So I guess that's a good thing.
This is Nepeta.
So now we're here in between our chicken coops. You can see our clematis is growing really well. And then scarlet runner beans coming up, and they're starting to climb, which is good too. And then we have these really awesome looking irises that are starting to come in, which is nice. It looks like we have yellow and purple ones. And we have our one blueberry plant here that's looking really good.
Last year's blueberry.
You get this one. So cool. And we also have like these alliums, which are coming through with like super spiky petals. Very cool.
It's our chairs. Looking good. Flower farm.
Flower market garden is doing a great job. So everything in here is looking really good, including what we had sown originally. It's finally starting to take off. You know, poppies are starting to come through. The feverfew and candy tuft that we planted over here is coming along really nicely. Zinnias.
Yep.
Sage, is that sage? The Sunday sage?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's looking really good. I gotta tell you, these market gardens are a lot of work to set up. And even though we may have not put down quite enough compost or mulch, it's still doing a really good job of suppressing the weeds so far. So, looking forward to that. So this is a walking stick kale that we have up by the house, and these are just in pots. But we've already, as you can see, harvested a little bit from them. They're just doing such a good job. How long are these snow peas?
Mm-hmm.
So those are looking really good as well. Yeah, this kale was not looking so great a few weeks ago. Kicked it into high gear.
Mint.
These are mint.
Spearmint, chocolate mint, peppermint. This is lemon balm.
Strawberry.
And strawberry mint.
Cattle panel garden in here. So we have tomatoes in these 2 rows directly under the trellises. And then I believe we have, what do you got, flowers here?
Yeah, sunballs, candy tuft, celosia, which aren't growing, 2 rows of sweet peas, and then asters.
See our strawberries coming through pretty nicely. I don't think we have any to harvest yet. Let's see, we got plenty coming. So hopefully the birds will leave us some. This is a nice little garden right by the house. Oh, chicken on the swing.
Oh, there's a chicken on the swing.
Chicken on a swing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Please leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Give us a like. And as always, please subscribe. Thanks for stopping by.